So we're back on the whiteboard. We're talking about position, movement, purpose, specifically about movement. And when it comes down to movement, athletes, coaches, everyone wants to have perfect movement. And how do we define perfect movement? Well, that's very hard because movement is in a constant state of progression and adaptation. But something that the fitness community, specifically CrossFitters, have done is they've done a great job at defining what are these functional movements. And we can define them in many ways. We can define them as movements that go from core to extremity, multi-joint, large loads, long distances quickly. But what is the essence of these functional movements? Well, first of all is that they actually serve a function. And these movements, if they serve a function, the first thing we want is we want those movements to be safe. I want to be able to perform a movement and come out on the other side unharmed. The other thing I want that movement to be is useful. I want to be able to use that movement. I want it to serve a purpose. Remember, we talked about that earlier. And then last but not least is I want it to be long lasting. Now, what does that mean? Well, I want to do this forever. And that is really important. And these three characteristics are very important to define that functional movement. And why do we care about this? Well, because these three things are going to tell us what the movement standard that we are using actually looks like. And what is the movement standard? Well, that's what a lot of us are obsessed with. This concept of RX, your prescription. And that is, how are you going to perform the movement today to get you closer to the goal that you want? And what does that movement standard look like? Well, exactly defined by your purpose. So notice how functional movement is something that is safe, useful, and long-lasting. It allows us to develop the best movement standard for you today, right now, so you can get closer to your goal. And that's something that we just need to keep in mind. So all movements are functional as long as you know where they fall within a progression. And why do we want them? Because we're trying to find this, the RX, the prescription. And how are we going to get there? Well, that is practice. That is studying. And that's why we need to understand the language of movement. And this is just the beginning of that.